Hello, everybody. We're still talking about the linkage between Aspen Plus and Microsoft Excel using the Aspen Simulation Workbook. And just as a quick revision, in the previous video, we saw that we can start from the result summary and from the stream summary ribbons, we can export the data to Microsoft Excel as a live simulation workbook, which means that the numbers in the or the exported numbers in Microsoft Excel are linked to the numbers in Aspen Plus, and they are automatically updated so that any change in Aspen Plus is going to reflect automatically to Microsoft Excel. And we saw this and did some changes and saw that how they reflect in Microsoft Excel automatically. But the procedures that we followed started from here and then going to send to Excel ASW, and then we went here and found that the numbers are already here. What we're gonna do today is another way we can do the linkage, and this is gonna be helpful in case of um, you are being interested in specific variables. So you don't want to see everything, you just want to see one or two variables. In case you have a desire to see the effect of one parameter on the other. So it's going to be pretty much like the sensitivity analysis, but we're going to do it here in Microsoft Excel uh, without the need to go to the Aspen Plus file. So first, when we take a look at the Aspen Simulation Workbook, I'm going to start with a blank file. I don't have anything here. It's just open Microsoft Excel and open a new file. And you see that because there is no linkage, everything here is inactive, with the exception of this part with the customer support and the support center and everything like this. So well, this is not of interest now. But with the exception of this, we have only the organizer, and we're gonna go to the organizer in few minutes, but it's empty. We don't have anything here. And this enable cell, and to get it started or to get the Aspen Simulation Workbook active, you have to enable it, and to enable it you have to click on this button so that the module that's responsible for the Aspen Simulation Workbook is active and working and you can use it. So this is the first thing that you need to do. But here you see that I don't have any files here because I haven't linked anything to the software. And here you see that the check links are not active because I don't have any links. The check table is gonna tell you that there is no broken tables found because I don't have any tables at all. So this is not gonna do anything. So we need first to tell the software that I want to link um, the the specific file to this or the specific Aspen Plus file to this Excel file. So you can do it first from here by adding a simulation file, and then you can pick the simulation file that you're interested in. And this is going to be very simple and straightforward, but I want to go for the organizer because this is the place where we're going to spend most of our time today dealing with. So the organizer is kind of the place where you can reach everything that you want to reach. There is part that's related to variables, that's part that's related to table management, and part to configuration and everything. So we're going to pick some of them and see what we can do with them for the time being, for the sake of creating this like sensitivity analysis kind of thing. So first we need to choose the file, and here you can find it in the simulation. And here the same buttons that you find here are here, the connect and the visible, and this active simulation case. So I don't have anything here, so I have to add a case, and I'm gonna choose the case which is this, and it's reflecting here automatically, and you see that it's telling you like some information. First, you have some information in this bar to the right, where is the file location on your computer, and the some other information. I don't know how important they are, but they are not important for me. But the point that's important now is the status. It's telling you that it's disconnected. So I have already chosen this file, but it's not connected to the Microsoft Excel. There is no link like the way we did last time. And to do this, you need to like click on this button, which is the same as this button. This button, by the way, is it looks like an electric plug that is disconnected from the electric source. So you just need to click on it, and it says connecting to simulation. So I'm just waiting for it to get connected. And once it's done, we will be able to proceed. And you can know if it's done or not from this part or the status column here. It says disconnected. I just need you need to wait until it's changed to connect. So it says results available, and this is exactly what you see here. The same status here is gonna be the same status that you see here. So once we're done, we just need to close this window, and now the file is connected, and we need to go to the next step. You can now run the simulation from here. You can reset, and you can do the same things we did last time. The next part is the interesting part. I'm going to go back to the organizer, which is what we call the scenario table. And the scenario table is kind of interesting thing. It's like you define some variables and you want to see the effect of some variables on the others. So it's exactly like the sensitivity analysis. You change one variable in a range, but here you can pick the values that you want. Then maybe this is something that is not possible in Aspen Plus, because you tell Aspen Plus that I want the range from here to here with the increment or with the number of points. But here you can pick any random numbers that you can pick. So what I'm gonna do is click on the scenario tables, and I don't have anything here, so I have to create a new table. And here it asks you where you want the table to be created. So I'm okay. It says this is where the table will start. So this is the top left part of the table. So I'm gonna say okay, and it's giving you some options here, which are some optional things. So where is the table gonna be placed, and how many cases? So how many times you are gonna change the independent variables? So I'm gonna go for 3 for now, and an option to put a title. So I'm gonna say so for now in our case we have absorber and stripper, and I just gonna go for a simple thing, which is changing the flow rate of the solvent and see how is this gonna affect the flow rate of ammonia and water in the gas stream, for instance. So I have 3 variables. The independent is the flow rate of the solvent, and the dependent is the flow rates of the products coming out of the ammonia and the water coming out of the gas stream, or with the gas stream. So I'm gonna say that the solvent flow rate effect on the ammonia and water flow rate in air. And I can show the title, choose to show the title, and the rest are just some options about how the borders will look like, the inside and outside borders. So there are options that you can play with if you are interested. This is the interesting part. We have here an option to put input variables and output variables. And here you have to pick from a table, and this table contains no variables. If I look here, there is nothing, and here it says that you have to have at least 1 input variables. So I don't have anything, so I need to go back here and see why we don't have variables. And the reason we don't have variables is because I have to pick the variables from the Aspen Plus file. And to pick the variable, you need to go to variable access and choose the model variable, and don't have any variables here. You have the option to import variables, which is something that you can try, but this requires that you save the variables as an ATMVO extension, which is something I don't know, so I'm not going to use it because I don't know how to create these kind of files. But there is one other way which is more simpler for me, which is going to the pure gas here and go for the results. And this is kind of amazing for me, which I'm gonna do right now, which is I'm interested in finding the flow rate of ammonia in air. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm just copying this cell. I'm not copying everything, just this cell. And here I'm gonna paste variables from clipboard. And the amazing thing here is that you find that it's pasting the number and all the properties of this number. So this, it tells you exactly where this number represents. It's the component flow rate of ammonia, and it's calculated, and it's in the stream named pure gas, and it's a material stream. And this is amazing that everything is stored with the number. It's not just the variable. So this is the first thing. The second thing is going to be the water flow rate. Again, the same thing here, copying and pasting. So everything is kind of piece of cake for me. And I know that these are the dependent variables. So I want to go for the independent variable, which is the flow rate of the solution to absorber. One thing you can think of is by going to the results of the stream and copying the flow rate. First, we need to try this. Surprisingly, this gives an error message, and I think this is related to the error message that we got last time when we did, or the error that we found last time when we couldn't find the flow rate of the total flow rate of the stream is not reflected in the live Aspen Plus file. The component flow rate was changing, but the total flow rate is not changing. So this is what I'm gonna do, is to change the component flow rate, and it's gonna work. But the thing that you need to keep in, or to notice here, is that it's considered as calculated, despite being an input. So this is not, this shouldn't be calculated. But the reason it's calculated, because I got it from the from the results, part. Uh, to get it as an input, you have to get it from here. So I'm gonna copy it from here and paste it. It's exactly the same variable, but this is copied from the input part, and this is copied from the results part. I still do not understand why it's different. Maybe because the software considers all the outputs that are listed in the results tab are just results or calculated values. I don't know, but this is how it works. So you have to get it from the input ribbon, not from the results ribbon. Anyway, so now I can go back to the scenario table and create a new scenario table, and yeah, exactly same thing. I'm gonna go for two cases, absorber flow rate effect on ammonia and water in air. And I'm now going to the input variables, and here it says I have to have at least one input variable, and you see this is the only input variable that's available, which is the one that is specified. So it's not even considering the same variable that I got from the results tab as an input. So this is important thing, that you have to get it from the input tab, not from the outputs tab. So I'm now I have already added it or selected it at the input variable, and the output variables again is gonna be the same thing. And surprisingly as well, it's considering this as an output. Again, I don't know how. Maybe because everything is calculated at the end of the day, so maybe that's why it's considering it. I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna pick the first two, which is the water and the ammonia in the gas stream, and I am done. The table is created, and I now can close this now. Um, you'd see that it's creating a column for the input and a column for the output. If you have more than one input, it's gonna be more than one input. It's gonna be 2 or 3 columns, whatever the number of inputs that you wanna choose. And the same for the outputs, you have 2, so it's giving you 2. And now I have the variable value of the variable. So it's now 1200, which is the initial value that I've started with. I can put 1150 and 1100, and you can see that there is an asterisk here, and this asterisk tells me that this is an active case. So I have three cases. For each case, I have different values for the input or different combinations of inputs in case you have more than one input. And now you're good to go. So here you can see that this ASW or part here is giving you some options, either to modify the table, which is gonna open the same window again. We're gonna go back to this in a few minutes, and then move table if you want to move it to somewhere else, to duplicate the table if you want to make another copy of it, or to delete the table if you want to delete it. And here you can choose to run the selected scenarios or run the active scenarios, whatever the ones that you want. You have the three active, or all of them are active, and you just need to click run scenarios. And what's gonna do now, it's giving these numbers to the simulation file, and it's running the simulation there, and giving you the results for each one of these numbers, which is amazing. You're not doing anything more than just putting the inputs and running the simulation. So it's kind of like the sensitivity analysis in a sense of changing a variable and testing the effect of this variable on the output. Um, but again, it's kind of more convenient in case you are not very happy with the way you do the sensitivity analysis in Aspen Plus. Uh, let's say I want to create more scenarios. So in this case, you can modify the table and increase the number of cases. So by clicking more, I'm choosing to add more scenarios here. I now have 10 scenarios. I'm gonna copy this so that all of them are active, and I'm gonna do the same, or just to drag it so that I have range from 1200 to 750. And I'm gonna do the same thing to run active scenarios, and I'm running the scenarios now. First, it says it's not run because it hasn't started anything, but now it's going one by one, running scenarios. Now scenario one is going now to scenario two, and it says the results are available. It's calculating, everything is fine, no problems, and it's gonna go on and on until we're done with the 10 scenarios. So I personally find this an amazing feature in Aspen Plus, to give you the option to do everything in another software by just linking them together and see how the results are gonna go. And sometimes it's easier than like getting the results of sensitivity analysis and exporting them to Microsoft Excel and doing everything manually. So you're doing everything in one place. So these are the results that we got for everything. There is no problem with the results. The results are available. You can do more. You can go here and insert a plot and see the effect of the solvent flow rate on the purity, and of course there are a lot of ammonia that's coming out with the air in case of lower solvent flow rate. And because the temperature of the solvent is low, so as you reduce the flow rate of the solvent, the temperature in the column gets higher, so you have more evaporation of water in the column. So that's why it's getting higher with the decrease in the solvent flow rate. So what I mean is that you can you can do this here without the need to go to Aspen Plus, do everything, and then come back to here. It's kind of a nice thing to know that you can create a link between Aspen Plus and Microsoft Excel, not just by copying the data or updating the data, but also by doing scenarios that are very helpful, especially if you have like combinations of variables, not just number that you're changing. If you have more than one variable, it's gonna be way more interesting and way more time saving. So I hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next video, inshallah. Goodbye.